You may recognize this sexy voice as the host of the Sawdust Nation Podcast. And I want to welcome everyone to the 161st episode of said podcast with the lovely and weirdly looking Josh from North Country Woodworking, the sleepy and tired Nap from Nap's Naughty Works, LLC, and myself, AJ from Crafted and NJ. So I'm going to be guest hosting tonight, and I feel privileged to be on. And Josh is creeping me out right now, and he's frozen, so it doesn't like immediately go away. So it's like he's got this ominous black background behind him. This is like what nightmares are. Like that's the face I would see.
Oh, that was creepy.
See?
Now I'm just waiting for someone to appear out of the background, kind of like what happened to me during another podcast I was on last week. It was quite creepy.
You just see two glowing eyes right behind him.
Yeah, like what the hell?
So anyway, glad to be on with you guys. So I want to hear, because I haven't talked to you guys in a little bit. I texted Nap before, but he was napping, of course, and asked when we were going to be on. So I've been in here for quite some time. So I want to hear what's going on in your shop. Josh, I'm going to throw it over to you because I know you got a ton of stuff going on right now.
Well, a ton of stuff, not so much shop stuff, because my shop is completely taken down. So we're going to back up a little bit to a little bit of a travel that I did here this last weekend. So I went from Texas to New Jersey, and the day before I made it home, my clamps decided to fall off the wall. They've been up there for years, and they just decided to give up on life and fall. I don't know. Like, it was 2:00 in the morning when this happened, and obviously the wife told me the next morning. And I looked, it didn't come out from the wall. Like the screws from the holder actually pulled away from the face. I don't know how to explain it. Like the French cleat was still French cleating, but there were screws pointing away from the wall. It's like someone went up there and just went.
Well, like I said before, you're going to see two glowing eyes over your shoulder. So
it's very appropriate.
See?
So, and I told you guys what happened at Ben's Beachtime Woodworks place, where basically his clamps that we put up did the same thing. So I don't know if this is a trend, so we'll find out. He since fixed his clamps. Thank God. I decided, well, I had to take them down anyway, so it helped me a little. But it was one of those things where that was amongst the warm welcome from the family. I walk in the shop and there are my clamps already on the floor.
Wow.
Wow.
But, I mean, at least they could have helped you put them in boxes or something.
Well, yeah, they could have, or whatever they could have, but it's one of those things. The cat just scared me because it's pitch black in here and I see his shape. So I came home, I spent time with the kids. They went down for a nap and I went in the garage and started deconstructing things. So basically my miter saw station is now just the top. I'm keeping the top to rebuild that. But, most of the furniture I had in the shop was the starting stuff. It just kind of morphed and kind of took shape as it went. Because I never thought this was going to be a thing. And, years afterwards, it became a thing. And now moving, I'm going to make the furniture a little bit more sturdy, more, friendly to use essentially. And then I thought keeping the top to that, which just made sense because I did like how it was everything done. I just didn't like the underneath portion. My CNC is taken apart. XY, well, the Z is still on, but it's completely apart. Couldn't use it if I tried. And then the actual stand for it is completely destroyed and in the garbage now. I'll be building a better one, more stable. And I might build it or I might just get a Craig stand. I don't know. There are a few options out there, and we're going to kind of weigh those when we get there. But besides all that, everything's off the walls except for like the TV. The filtration system is still up and the dust collection. Just because like how everything kind of ended up, it's just kind of in a place that's hard to get to, and I can do that real quick. The laser is up on its wheels, ready to go, wheel out. I took the basic cooling fluid and took the in and out, connected it to the laser and then one to the chiller so that I can keep fluid in there. And I put zip ties on there so it doesn't pull out. I thought it'd be a better way to transport just because it's kind of like keeping all that, keeping everything wet, if you will.
That makes sense.
But the house, my wife has done an amazing job. And my son and my daughter, they've been packing the house for a while now. Basically downstairs, except for the kitchen, is complete. Upstairs will be done by tomorrow. And then we get our U-Pack, which is basically a tractor trailer, and delivered. And I'll be packing that up, getting everything in there. And then my parents arrive Friday, and all the big stuff will be put into the truck or the trailer. And we'll get that gone. I did end up with a 6x12 trailer to haul the laser and some of the shop, which surprisingly, like I'll be able to get most of my toolboxes in there and the laser, which my toolboxes have some tools on there, and I can put the clamps and some wood in there. And that's going to solve a lot of the space issue that I thought I was going to have. I just got to be careful not to overload the trailer. And I tell you what, that truck, I was hauling, it was empty, but I was hauling that trailer around, wouldn't even know it. Like, didn't notice it at all. And I love it. So, yeah, things are going. We'll be out next week. We'll be going to Illinois. And hopefully by the end of the week, we'll be in place in our new home. Nice. And then unpacking. My dad's going to actually go with us, and he'll fly back to New York once he helps us unload. So that's really nice to have another helping hand. But this will be the last episode I do here in New Jersey. The next episode, I'll be on the road. So the first, I believe it is. So yeah, it's been a week, man. I come back from Texas, start deconstruction in the shop. That took 2 days. And then from there, it's just been doing a lot of odds and ends, repairing the walls. We were here for almost 8 years in this house. So as you can imagine, a lot of pictures, a lot of things have been done. And we got to make it look like we were never here, essentially. So for the most part, I mean, like, because we were here so long, there are some things like the carpet, like they have to replace that every so many years. We've been here so long that they're going to replace all of it. So we don't have to worry about that. But for the most part, just keeping things, keeping things simple. We are, wife made a great dinner tonight. We'll probably be packing up the kitchen tomorrow. So take out for the win, but yeah, it's one of those things. I'm sad to leave Jersey. I really, our kids, we had our kids here. The business started here. A lot of great stuff happened here. But we're ready for a change. And, I'm excited about what's to come. So.
That's good. Well, I also, at least your company name isn't pigeonholing you to the state of New Jersey like mine.
I did that for a reason, though. A lot of people do ask me why I named it North Country Woodworking, and I've told it on this podcast before. But to kind of hit on that real quick, when I named the business the way I did, is I was actually deployed, and I had another maker, which was an engineer as well, play engineer, tell me, hey, get on Instagram. There's a great community for woodworkers on there. And I'm like, I don't do social media, right? So I took his word for it. I jumped on there, and I had nothing really to post. So I posted, my first post is actually of my camp, and that's in upstate New York. And I started thinking about, like, if I'm going to do this, I need a business name, or I need a name of some sort, right?
Yeah.
And I had it Stony Lake Woodworking, and I had JP Woodworking, and I had different versions. And then I'm like, where I grew up, it's all called the North Country. Upstate New York, that's everyone calls North Country, whatever. And I knew that I probably will never end up live there, but I always have a camp there, and I grew up there. And I wanted a nod to where I began. And that's where North Country Woodworking came from. Now, the only thing I would do differently is maybe North Country Workshop, just because you do other stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'll ever change it because of that. If you know me and my business, you know that we could do whatever you dream. So
yeah, right. And even if they don't know, they could always ask and find out.
Exactly. So we kind of took a dive into a lot there, even some history of the shop. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to who's awake. Nap, you awake?
Nap. Let's throw it over to Nap.
No, I'm not awake. Thus the name Nap, because I'm always napping. As you can see, I've got some pretty baggy looking eyes right now. I don't know what's going on, man. I've been tired, man.
It's old age.
Yeah, my tender age of 32 years old.
Oh,
So
32.
No, honestly, so I was fine up until sitting down in my living room. So, I was up all day doing my stuff and then sat on my couch, which I you would think I would have learned by now. Don't sit in the damn couch or don't sit in the couch. As soon as you sit on the couch, sit.
That's it.
Especially when you're like your throne. The throne of the house that's the place. You're done once you sit down. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm going to set this alarm on my phone just in case I do fall asleep. And I, woke up to the alarm and then I fell right back to sleep. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know Josh called me because I was looking at my phone like halfway awake, right? And I'm sure Josh was on there for a good 30 seconds before I actually said anything to him. And I'm sitting there like, oh, crap, I gotta call Josh. Gotta call Josh. Oh, wait, what? So I was like, oh, why is Josh on my phone right now? And I just see all I hear is, hello, Nap. I'm like, and I go, oh crap, Josh. And he goes, you all right? I was like, you napped, didn't you? I was like, oh yeah, I napped. I'm walking to my computer now. So legitimately 2 minutes before the podcast, I was waking myself up to get on the podcast. I'm still kind of getting there. But here I am, nap in the flesh, literally after napping. And so what's going on in the shop and the things. So before I get into what's going on in my shop. So, look, it's not as creepy anymore.
No, it's not.
It's my boy Noah.
Okay.
Hi, buddy.
I know you can't. Say hi.
Hi, I can't hear still.
He's like, I'm gone. So, Josh, I got to say, you're getting things ready to rock and roll. Okay. You're at the stage I was at when I was doing my last podcast in San Antonio. And I can tell you what, the amount of stress I can imagine you're going through right now, amongst other things, is probably monumental. But I will say that I know you'll get through it. But right now, I will say you're probably at, I'll call it one of the easier parts of your move. So I guess my bit of advice for you is just be ready for all the things that you're not ready for to happen. You've already quelled a lot of the issues of like getting ready to move, like as far as getting your truck, making sure you, were able to coordinate everything to, leave on time. Some unfortunate events that had recently happened for you, which, for those that know, if not, well, you can ask, privately. But outside of that, man, you're going to get to the point where you're going to start moving stuff. And I would say just be prepared for anything. Be ready for a tire to go. Be ready for, things to roll around in the truck that you didn't expect to roll around because it's going to.
Oh, yeah.
Don't put that hate on me, Ricky Bobby.
You know what? And I wish I could say I'm not going to put the hate on you, but the unfortunate fact is it's going to happen. And if it doesn't, I'll tell you what, the rule of threes is in your favor. Because I think the three has already happened. Let's just hope it stays that way. Okay. I'm hoping I'm wishing everything goes the best for you on your actual move itself. And I'm just a phone call away. Maybe not physical help, but maybe like a sounding board if something goes awry.
Absolutely.
I'm sure
man.
AJ is the same way. But yes, so good luck to you on your move. If we don't get around to talking about it more later, and yeah, man, it's going to be a beast for sure. So now getting into where you're going to is you're going to Illinois and you're going to set up your shop.
Yep.
Canvas. I'm telling you what, if I were to start over, I would have canvassed my shop out a little more before I just jumped into it. Because I can tell you, there's a lot of stuff I would change right now in my shop, and I'm slowly doing it before the winter begins.
I actually tried. I wanted some blueprints of the new shop, if you will. But they have like graphic design representation of it essentially.
Okay.
And it doesn't show like dimensions. Because what I was going to do, honestly, was I was going to reach out to the community. We know a few people that are like whizzes in certain programs. And Kumo's coming to mind because like I think he's the most recent one I talked to about this. And I was going to give him dimensions, and we were going to go over kind of like placement and stuff like that. But, you know, there's no dimensions out there that I could find or anything like that. I probably could reach out to the housing agency and they could probably try to give me some, but who knows how accurate that is. And at this point, I already got the house, so it's happening.
And you're so close, you know,
it doesn't matter how small the hole is. We're going to shove it in. So.
All right.
I'm talking about the garage. Yeah. It's a small shop, and I got a lot of big tools I'm gonna put in it. So,
alrighty then. It's like I got a bike. I'm gonna park my bike. Yeah.
Watch you get there, and it's like a Barbie-sized garage.
Oh my god, man!
It's a 1-car garage, from what I've been told. Actually, so some hindsight in this is that the instructor that taught me was his first class. Like he went to the training to become an instructor. He came in, watched the class be taught, and then he was supposed to teach one block, one little portion of the course. But then our instructor, it was his last class, was like, you know, it's my last class. I know this. I'm going to let you teach. And I'll just kind of dual hat this, right? He came from Illinois and actually lived like 4 or 5 houses down from where I'm going to be.
Oh, wow.
So he was able to tell me kind of, you know, what to expect and what it looks like. I might have Googled Earth the address and even kind of rotated around it. And then find out I'm like 6 minutes away from work, so I could walk to work if I really wanted to. But which is a good or bad thing. If you're military, you know. So, but I've tried to do as much research as I can. I'm at that point now where I got to show up. I'll see what I have, and I'll work with what I got. Yep. We're makers, man. We make things happen. It doesn't matter how big the shop is or the space is. That laser's going in there.
Josh is going to fit his tool into it.
Yes.
Tools, plural. Sorry.
But yeah, it's been a week, and some background to that is like just before coming home, as some Air Force stuff happened. My wife's car we had to take it in for inspection and spent like $2,000 on it.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, like, and then, you know, plans kept changing and like things kept happening. And you know what? I've always experienced bad things happen in 3. That's what I think Knapp is hitting on. I think he experienced the same thing. And when the third thing hits, you're almost relieved. You're like, oh, I don't have to wait for it. It's not hiding in the dark behind me. You know what I'm saying? It happened. If there's a fourth thing, well, I don't know what to say, but, you know, the 3 big things have happened. We're powering through them. We got through every single obstacle except for 1 so far, or 2. I guess the move would be 1. But, you know, we're makers. Again, we'll find a way. Life will find a way. Makers will find a way.
And even if you got a blueprint, set it all up on, you know, paper and whatnot, your shop is probably going to change 10 times before you're actually like real 100% happy with it. And you'll probably still be not 100%.
I don't know, because the way the shop was here, I mean, I wish I had more room, but I really liked it. Like it flowed so well for me personally. Okay. I was able to fit everything. I was able to do everything I, wanted to do. Larger projects like, if you've been watching my reels, I've slowly been introducing one of the larger projects I've done, and that's a retirement chest. And large projects like that are kind of tough because you don't have much room to maneuver, right? Mm-hmm. But you learn how to. And I've had a small shop since I started. So I'm going into another small shop, and it might be laid out a little different. It can't, knock on wood, it can't be any smaller. Dangerous, huh? I live on the edge.
It's like this big.
But I'll make it work, man. Like,
yeah.
That's everything has wheels. Thank God. I tell you that much. I'm glad I had put everything on wheels, and I'll make it work. If I have to put the CNC on the wall, I will. I mean, like,
you got a driveway in the new place?
I do.
Nice
so I can roll out. I don't know how flat it is, but it has to be flatter than here. There's a pretty good,
probably like
pretty much. I mean,
it's you got the garage door here, and then it's just like this. Just
put it
down.
in perspective. My first bench I ever built, right, was the 8-foot, 4-foot, behemoth. Everyone does. It had all my tools on it, and when I pushed it out of the garage, I had to run as fast as I could to the other side to stop it from going down the hill and into the other neighbor's driveway.
Nice.
So it has, like, watch, I get there and it's like a decline. I need a rope. But from Google Earth, it looks good.
Hey, that's all that matters. That's good, though. I mean, I'm happy for you. I mean, hopefully you could set it up to the way that, maybe you had ideas in this shop, what you could have done a little bit different and whatnot, and apply those to the new one. Is it, well, you don't know size-wise. I was just going to say, is it
not so much
larger
size.
one car than your
From what I
car?
understand, it's a one car, and correct me if I'm wrong, someone out there, but one cars have a certain standard. They have to be a certain size. I mean, they can go a couple inches, each way, but it also has a small closet off to the right interior, kind of like underneath the steps that go upstairs. Okay. So I'm hoping that's big enough to maybe put the recording studio in there and some 3D printers, or if I can't even do that, maybe some wood storage, get it off the walls, and I can put some more up there, depending. Yeah. Like I said, we'll figure it out. But the biggest hurdle from what I'm hearing so far is I have one outlet in the garage.
Oh, geez. Again?
There it is.
So currently I have a 15 amp circuit that allows three 15 amp circuits. I have one that goes around the entire garage, and there's two plugs in each side. There's a 15 amp circuit in the back that should be a 20 amp for a freezer, which I have my defreezer there. And then I use the garage door opener circuit up there I disconnect it and I just lock it manually. And then the one outside is a 20 amp, and my neighbor's 20 amp. So this new house, from my understanding, has one outlet. Okay, cool. I know how to work off one 15 amp circuit. I've done it. You know what I'm saying? It's one tool at a time. You just take your time. The other 20 amp, I need two 20 amp outlets. And I know there's one outside the garage, and there should be one in the back. So if I have to snake another extension cord all the way back there, Jesus, I will. So if I can run my CNC and my laser and then some other tools off that 15 amp, I'll be okay. Is it going to suck? Sure. But you do what you got to do, right? I'm hoping that the garage door opener has an outlet and it's not direct wired in, because that will be coming down, not down, but like unplugged, and I'll be utilizing that like I have here. And honestly, that will suffice for what I have. Yeah, I got to do the plug and play extension cord fun, but I've done that this entire time. You get into a groove, how things work. If you turn this on and then that on, it's going to, pop the circuit breaker. What order you could do stuff. And there's one thing I love. Well, there's multiple things I love about this community and being a maker, but like with our collective knowledge and the way that we come together to do stuff, if I have trouble, I know I can reach out. I know there's people, I can go and talk to that have something similar and see what they do.
Have you ever thought of maybe one of those real quiet generators, just so that you have extra outlets, in case you really did have to run something, on the larger scale while using, I don't know, let's just say you were running the CNC and your dust collector at the same time, but couldn't do anything because you had no outlet. I mean, those generators, some of them are pretty damn quiet.
You're absolutely right. A generator would be probably a smart decision, but I'm hoping to woo my neighbors a little bit and use their power too.
Yeah, you're going to woo your neighbors, and you're secretly going to just look around. Josh is gonna be like black ski mask, all blacked out in the middle of the night, walking a black colored extension cord over his neighbor's house, looking around, all suspicious, like plugging in, doing like a little tuck and roll up on his way back to his house, hoping his neighbors don't notice.
I'll tell you what I do. You got to do things slowly, okay, so people don't realize what you're doing.
One by one.
If I was going to do things sneaky, I would do this. I'd wait till Christmas when every single person is plugging everything else in.
Perfect.
Right? So you plug in an extension cord into their already setup that has multiple, like receivers. And then when they go ahead and they unplug everything, you take yours out, plug everything the way they unplug everything, then you plug yours back in. They're not going to look again because they've already unplugged everything. You just have yours in there and you snake it underground to yours and you utilize the power. And when they look, they won't even think twice. They'll be like, oh, I forgot to unplug it. They'll unplug it. Then you go over there and you plug it back in. No, I'll never do that. I asked my neighbors like I did here, hopefully I won't even have neighbors, and that's easier, no neighbors. You utilize the power. They come in and be like, hey, I do stuff. I'll make you a cutting board or whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? If you let me use this one outlet. If there already is,
I make things. I'll help you out.
I will do something for you.
They walk into their living room and there's like extension cords just everywhere, just stringing like a web.
I'm going to put condemned on the door, make a sign, and just be like...
Just a biohazard.
Yeah, they'll go well.
I could probably get those strips, too.
No, it'll say condemned, but really, the house entirely next to him is just nothing but a shop. It's not a house, it's a shop, but it says condemned.
I like that idea.
Ooh, the garages do, Mary. Like, the garages on each side.
What have I done?
I can make a door.
Just do a door.
I have a one-way lock. And if no one's there, I could just utilize that shop. And when they pull up, I'd have to pull the tools back over.
That's a lot of work. Or what you do is the door leading into their garage, right, from their house, you put up a false wall so they think it's just like a dead door. They don't even know they have a garage. You
cover the outside too. You got to cover the outside garage. Make it look like it's part of my house.
Yeah. Just put a big banner that makes it look like a big garage door. That never opens.
This episode is going to be makers are not criminals. Dun, dun, dun.
I'm going to show up and my neighbor's going to be like, so I listened to a podcast.
Yeah, right.
You know which one?
But
that's good. Nice.
Sorry, sold the show on that one.
You good?
No, it's good. I was actually kind of curious as to how you were going to go about things, but it's good. Unlike my little endeavor where I literally bought a house that was built around the garage. No, the wife didn't mind at all.
Yeah.
The wife wishes she had a garage, for that matter. I told her that it's not a garage, that is a shop, and I let my realtor know. I said, hey, just know it's not for cars. It's for my shop. So, and my realtor actually didn't realize what that meant until I actually had him over for a couple drinks one time, and he goes, "Oh, this is what you meant." I was like, "Yeah, I wasn't kidding." But yeah, so getting into what's going on actually in the shop right now. So I've been slow rolling a couple things and finishing a couple jobs up. I have a package that's been sitting here with a label on it that I have to take an X-Acto blade to open it, to add 3 more plaques before I send it. Nice. So probably right after the podcast today, I'm going to put 3 sawtooth hangers on it, put the bubble wrap in the things, reclose it so it's ready to ship tomorrow. It's from my dad, so I'm not really too worried about it. When your family's customers, it's like,
they can wait.
You'll get it when he gets it, But no, he is paying customers, so he will get his stuff. It was his fault he added those three things at the end there, and he knows it. And I think that's why he hasn't been getting on my case too much about sending it. But let's see. The first mallet that I had made went to the customer last week, and they loved it. There are a couple things I think I'm going to take from that particular build. And I really like the wedge technique where you cuts out like a fork, you throw the wedge in there and you hammer it in and it widens out and keeps it together. I think I might do something with like a table for that. Make it to where the table, you have a solid tabletop, but then you cut the, square holes and you wedge it in there for the legs. So kind of like a mallet style deal. I don't know. We'll see. I might use that on this Lego table that I might be making for somebody. A 60 by 60 Lego table with a 20-inch cutout in the center of it. Yeah, right. Like, that's kind of what I thought to myself, that exact look Josh is giving me right now. I never thought about making a table, but he said he'd like it in 2 halves that he can collapse down and all the things and put it away when it's not in use. I'm like, well, hell, my CNC cuts 32 by 48, so I could easily make a tabletop that is that. I'm still working details on that and how it's going to look. It's probably going to be oak because he asked me between pine and oak, and I was like, you're going to want oak, man, because if you use pine, it's not going to last long, especially if it's for your kids. You're going to want something that's going to take a beating, which I hate working with oak. I'll be first to admit it, but it is a very, very strong wood, and it'll be a lot harder to break that than if you make it out of pine. Now, what I can say is the only reason why I say it is because it's structural. If I'm making a table out of solid oak, you're not breaking that. I'm sorry. You're just not. What do you got, AJ?
It's wood, bro.
I mean, yeah, it's wood, but like I said, like everything can break. Sure, I got it. But it's like, he said an inch thick. That's thick.
Still breakable. If there is a will, there is a way.
But no, but AJ has a point, yes. Anything can break. I will say it's less likely to break if it's oak.
I hate oak. Like, I just don't like oak. I don't like the feel of oak. I don't like the look of oak. I don't like
Listen,
oak.
I make oak look great, all right? There's folks out there, he's got a piece of oak right there.
I know. I forgave you.
Look at it.
Years
just
ago
look at it.
It's very nice looking, but it splinters, and that's one thing I don't like about it.
I think that's it.
And oak, if you really think about it, what was all the furniture when we were all growing up?
Oak.
Was out of oak. Everything was oak and stained that golden yellow.
Okay, yeah, but it's not going to be stained golden yellow. I mean,
I'm not saying yours is going to be. I'm not gonna
we hit a nerve.
How dare you?
Like, of course, there's different oak. I don't know the difference because, you see white and red oak. To me, white oak would be much whiter and red oak would be much redder. But I can't tell the difference between them. I'm guessing the crap that they sell at Home Depot is red oak.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's got a red hue to it. A lot of people like it is. So a white oak is more sought after, and but they look the same. So what's the physical difference between like the allure of white oak compared to the red oak?
Okay, go ahead, Nap. He's so excited.
I got this one because I listen. I learned firsthand the difference between the two, and I will be first to tell you that white oak is much more brittle than red oak.
Really?
In my experience, yes. So I had a piece of white oak.
Consult the Google.
See, and maybe Google will prove me wrong. Maybe I just got some really crappy white oak. However, so white oak is going to have more of like an olive color than a white. Okay, and then red oak, it's going to have like that brownish reddish color. Maybe not like cherry, how it actually looks reddish if you get certain cuts of cherry.
How dare you compare oak and cherry?
Just get over yourself.
You're canceled.
Okay?
Take it back.
Canceled. Go take a nap.
I said in color. Okay, in color. But no. So white oak it actually splinters more. And by the way, for some reason it hurts more. I don't know. It just hurts more. Way more. But I actually had a piece of white oak actually break on me a lot easier than a piece of red oak did. I couldn't tell you why. I will tell you that white oak is a lot more stringy when you cut it with the CNC. I've noticed. Also, it seems to be a lot rougher on end mills.
In the eyes.
In the eyes. Well, really, any sawdust in the eyes isn't really great. But
now where I was going with that, but yeah, you're right.
But yeah, so that's the difference I've seen. And also, white oak is super expensive compared to red oak.
Yeah, true.
Well, okay. So just from my quick and thorough research, it looks like red oak and white oak are almost the same hardness, but they're saying that the white oak is slightly more impervious to dents and scratches like that. So that's why they use it for furniture. The biggest appeal for white oak is that it's not red. And red oak, like we said, is less expensive. The white oak also has a smoother grain to it. So I could understand it, but like still,
It's oak.
What's the real difference? I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen a lot of white oak furniture that's absolutely beautiful, but I don't like working with it because it splinters so much. Let me digress. I have not worked with white oak. I've worked with Home Depot red oak. So maybe it's different, in other parts of the world where they have white oak. We have white oak here, but I've never tried it. So I don't know anything about the white oak except seeing it.
Home
And
Depot
like I said,
red oak is not great at all.
No,
premium.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
There's nothing premium about any of their wood.
No, it was made in the USA. I don't know if the sticker was made in the USA or the red oak, but that's a plus.
Tell me you didn't get that pre-cut.
The oval?
Yeah.
No, it was a
okay. I was about to say my life is a lie.
12, and then it was whatever length. No, I made that a long time ago.
I'm proud to see that the Sawdust Nation Podcast logo still lives with AJ.
It does.
Like the fact that he just went, check this out.
No, it's right here.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Look at that. Look at that oak. That beautiful, beautiful oak. Anyways,
we went down a small rabbit hole about oak, but I will say I think maybe the biggest difference here, like you said, the appeal is that it's not red. That it has a consistent white look.
Yeah.
Rather than.
And I guess it would probably take stain a little bit better if you were to stain it, or do any kind of, Rubio or whatnot, because then you wouldn't have to worry about the hint of red that's in the oak. I don't know. I got a spot that's local to me that's trying to liquidate some lumber, and they got some white oak, so I might pick up like a board, possibly. We'll see.
Do it for some giggles, and just see what you think of it. Because I'll be the first to say I don't like working with oak either. I really don't. But a lot of people, unfortunately, their pocketbooks say that's what they want. Because cherry's expensive. At least where I'm at, cherry's expensive. Walnut is God.
Okay, your prices are better than our prices up here.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've never been to Boards and Beams.
Are you kidding me? Listen, it's $7 a board foot for cherry here. It's $19 a board foot for walnut. It's, I want to say it's like 5 something for oak. So I think that's obviously the cheapest. 4/4?
Are we talking about?
That's 4/4.
Okay.
So I would say 4/4, or is it with 13/16? The flat boards dimensioned.
Yes.
So that's how much that is, and then. Like, there's obviously your odds and ends, but I don't go for the odds and ends because I don't get much of it. Like, mahogany is like $17 here.
So that's 2S?
Yeah.
Okay. So, from memory here, it's like $9 or something per board foot for cherry. And for walnut, I don't remember offhand, and I don't want to say it's 19. I want to say if I get 19 seems a little high. I want to say it's cheaper for walnut if you get 4/4 S2S, but if you get S4S, it's about it's in the 19-20 range.
Oh, so real quick, so Jason says white oak can be used outside, which I have heard such things.
I keep forgetting that you have a live audience, and so I need to do more thorough researching before I spit facts out. I would never have known. I would have thought white oak and oak could not touch the rain at all.
It's kind of like using cedar?
It would melt
and things.
Really now?
Yeah, so cedar is actually really good for outdoors, and here's why.
Yeah,
it repels insects.
Yes, that I know. I never knew that about white oak though. I'll have to pick up some and try it out. Like I said, I keep seeing it. I keep seeing people use it. People like it. I just never got the chance to, and never needed to.
But here, I'll wrap my shop up so we can BS some more.
Hurry up.
We keep going down rabbit holes, right? And I keep bringing things up that seem to bring up like sources of consternation. And we're just like raw oak and white oak and raw wood. But no, so the projects are going. So Lego table going to be made of oak. I think it's just better than pine, and just, as far as construction is concerned, because we all know that pine can be used for some really nice things. And I know a certain guy that's on this podcast right now that makes flags. out of some pine.
That's where you're
Sawdust.
wrong.
Yeah, he changed it up.
You
Come on,
changed it
bro.
up.
You follow me at all?
I do, but I'll tell you what, it all looks.
You're telling me
like
about
these big old.
You're telling me about this new wood called cedar. I mean, I only get every cedar board that's available at Lowe's every time I go. But I know
There's
nothing
so many
about
people that gotta
stuff.
be about that.
I go through the stacks like crazy. The other day, I took out 50 boards. They had 2 big stacks of it, and I had wood all over the floor.
He must know
on my
your
cart. Yo,
that guy's
it was
here.
He pulls up. He's like,
Yo, that was a good time. That was a good time. That was the biggest load of cedar that I took. But anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. Yes, my flags are badass and amazing, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, okay, so we've graduated. Okay, listen. I do follow AJ. I see a lot of the cool finish work that he does. I haven't gotten to see a lot of the process, which I ain't gonna lie to you. Maybe one of these days I'll learn how to do what he does with that. Because the CNC would be cool, but I think using a cut saw disc seems just way more like satisfying.
manly.
Something about that.
It's like it's like be a man. Get a cut saw disc.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so there's that project. I'm making a little mini podium sent back to San Antonio. Haven't made one of those, but this particular customer made it so easy for me. They sent me all of the measurements of the one they want, like from angles to how wide the base is, everything. They even showed me like the construction. They flipped it on its side, showed me how they made a center console, everything. I was like, oh, this will be easy then. So make some of those, sending it up there. And then what the hell else am I making? Because I feel like I got so much going on, but there's stuff going on, but I really don't. Shadow box. I know I got one of those. Oh, I'm making a shadow box out of oak. I tried to convince them for cherry and walnut. They didn't go for it because it's more expensive. But
yeah.
Let's see. I've been putting a lot of thought to something that I've been seeing. It's from I posted a reel about it, and I don't know why it's eluding me at this point. Creative. What is it? Handcrafted by Trey. He actually mentioned it. I'm going to click on his reel real quick so I can remember. Makers Challenge Central. That's what it is. So if you go to @Makers Challenge Central on Instagram, they do this thing where they have like different like challenges that makers can take on. And I guess this season 15 or episode 15 or whatever it's called is made from scraps in the shop. What maker doesn't have an infinite amount of cutoffs that we've always said, oh, I want to make something out of these things. Oh, it's got potential. I'm not a hoarder. Well, I'm a hoarder of scraps, and I can assure you I've got a lot of dimension scraps in my garage right now, or shop rather. And I actually thought about maybe entering in this thing. I'm not going to win, but I mean, it'll give me a little motivation to take all the scraps that I have and maybe make something. Not really sure what yet.
I got something for you. I have an idea for you. Remind me after the podcast. I'm going to pitch it to you. And when you do it, I just want an honorable mention. That's all.
Okay. I mean, I was thinking about making like a Phoenix Raven 3D thing out of a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I thought about it possibly. We'll see what happens. But no, on a real note, I actually thought about making a chaos board with a solid wood inlay. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do though. I think that's half of my reason why I haven't gone after it. Because I don't know what I'd make quite yet. Because I don't know. I feel like I'm creative, but not that creative. So there's that. That's really all that's going on in the shop, guys, because I ain't gonna lie, I've been doing a lot of work, a lot of sleeping. Yeah, as you know, because I napped right before the podcast.
Not you.
I've been so damn tired, man. I'm about to change my position at work again, so I'm about to change from one squadron to another. And I'm exhausted. So it's not been as shop intensive as I'd like it to be. It's more actual work these days, but it'll hopefully start to pick up again, so that way I can actually like make some things. But we'll see. I want to use my rotary CNC a little more. I think that was something I possibly had also entertained. Nick Burchell from Burchell Designs, he makes some really cool stuff on his Haas machine, and he uses a lot of different like woods and like chaos type designs, and he does some really, really cool stuff. So I don't know, a lot of things going through my brain of what I could possibly do. I just got to kind of put it to paper first before I do it. But yeah, so that's it. That's all that's going on in the shop. Nothing too serious, nothing too crazy, other than it's a mess, and I've made a couple things. But I did get to go on another podcast last week. That was pretty cool. I was on with the Creative Maker podcast with 5 awesome individuals, and I wouldn't be nice if I didn't mention them because they were gracious enough to have me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Jen from Jen's Turn, Jamie from JP Woodwork, Jake from Northside Country Crafts, but his handle is Jake_Thompson670, Matt from Wacker Works, and Joey from Steel Blade Woodworks. So they had me on last week, got to know me, asked a bunch of questions about where I came from, how I started with the maker community, all the things. And then they asked me one particular question, which ended up getting made into a reel, which I thought was super hilarious. Jamie or JP, he asked me, he was going to ask me the most important question he'd ever asked on a podcast. And he says, Dr. Evil, he straps lasers to sharks' heads. What animal would I strap it to? And I said cat, because cats just don't care. They're vindictive. It's like meow, laser beams, to the face.
Hold on. I got to stop you there. Cats. They would get distracted by the laser beam and they wouldn't be able to use the laser beam for anything. All they would just be is like going like this on the floor the whole time. Yeah. That's it.
But if it's a destructive laser beam, think of this. It's on their head and they're distracted and they're chasing it. This beam is going. It's just destroying everything in its path because they just don't care.
They didn't put a lot of thought through this. Like, I could see, like, if you said, like, the shark thing is fine. They don't care about the laser. You could just teach them how to just, destroy whatever you want. Now, with a cat, that's very destructive. Most of the time they're sleeping, so the laser's not really going to be doing anything.
Just burning a hole.
Ineffective.
Okay, I'm sorry. But in the middle of the night,
giant hole that goes like miles and miles and miles.
You can't tell me that, okay, I mean, I have cats. I know you have a cat, Josh. AJ, you've got cats?
We all have cats.
We all have cats.
Listen, you can't tell me in the middle of the night when they're singing the songs of their people, just running through the house like maniacs.
Wait, you call that too?
Yes.
It must be a Pollock thing.
Like, it's
wow,
just like,
I take offense to that. I'm an Italian, sir.
You're honorary.
Thanks.
Welcome.
But seriously, them little buggers, they'll be like in the middle of the night, just meow. You're like, what is wrong with you? Shut up. And they're just running through the house. So all I'm saying is, yes, okay, they might get distracted by the laser. Yes, they sleep a lot of the time. But the times that they're awake, I tell you what.
Yeah, but they're going to destroy your house.
That's the point. Dr. Evil uses laser beam, the shark's laser beams attached to their heads.
You guys are thinking about this all wrong. You don't do it to your cat. You do it to the person's cat you want to destroy.
Well, Nap is talking about like his cat. He wants to strap a laser beam too. So when it's running around his house, it's going to destroy his house.
Actually, I might just get a laser and strap it to my cat.
It was just an open-ended question, so I just answered cats. But
we're working off of facts, my friend. We're working off of facts.
Metrics don't lie.
Logic in this conversation. Oh, man. But, hey, listen, them folks over there, if you haven't gotten a chance to listen to their podcast, give it a listen. They definitely have a good way of going about it. They have 5 hosts that literally interview style go through the whole deal. They definitely gained a bunch of, what do they call it, little video clips to play in the middle of their podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a very animated person when I talk, and they've got a lot of them. They're like, oh, found one. Oh, there's another one. Oh, wait, but there's more. Like, I did the Ace Ventura, like, and they got that on, So they've got all sorts of things that they're probably going to use to make fun of me in some way, shape, or form. But so there was that happened. And, yeah, I mean, shit. Honestly, not a whole lot much more going on here.
AJ, I got a question for you, man.
Yo.
I've met your match when it comes to unopened tools and boxes in your shop.
Okay. Who?
I think we all know a person like that.
Ben Warren for Beachtime Woodworks.
Okay. What's he got?
No way.
This man, I helped clean his shop up, has just as much, or maybe
probably more,
with long-standing packages that have not been opened. Which I'm curious if he's still listening in the chat. I want to know the longest or the package he's had the longest without opening, and then I know you, my friend. You have your metrics all ready to go, probably.
Yeah, but that package has been opened and closed and then opened again and then closed again. I look at it every once in a while.
Are we talking about the dovetail, Jake?
Yes.
I'll tell you what, that damn dovetail, Jake, has been a thing since I started listening and being on the podcast.
Yep.
Like, I think it was like, what episode did that thing come out? Like 5, 6?
I'll find out right now.
It's always been a thing. It's haunted my dreams.
Like,
my
that thing has
thoughts.
sat in his shop for so long. I
man.
can't talk though. I've got things in my shop that have sat forever.
Seriously, if I was going to do sneaking around New Jersey, I would sneak into his shop, open it, and apply it, and just sit it up on his bench so it could pretend it was used at one point in time.
So this September 21st, to mark the date, will mark 4 years.
That's excellent. Well done, sir. Well done.
4 years. It is pristine. The box has a lot of dust on it, but that's it. I haven't removed it. I haven't touched anything in it. I think I might have taken the manual out and put it back. But I just haven't needed it. And I had never had time to do anything for myself, so who cares?
That should be your you should open it,
make it a
test it out. Hang it on the wall. Do something.
I don't have any walls to hang it on. So the box is perfect.
There's always wall space.
No, there's not. Not in my little shop. But yes, it'll be 4 years by time I actually get that.
That means it's about
by the time
4 years
September
of the podcast
rolls up
too.
Mm-hmm. It's because we started probably right after or before that.
That was before.
Well, outside the 4-year dusty tool, there, AJ. Since we went a very long time on our shops and just went down so many rabbit holes. What's going on in your shop?
Well, I can tell you.
Going on.
Yeah, there is, but I can tell you, I also have a new benchtop mortiser that is still in the box that I bought a few months ago, and I'm actually using it as a stand right now for my fan. So.
Okay, so if you want to send that to me, like legitimately, I will pay for it and shipping right now because I'd probably use it.
Yo,
it's worth having.
It's cheap on Home Depot. I got it on a Home Depot site. It was a Wen, and I don't have the project. Yeah, I have to say, the Wen stuff I've had has been pretty good to me. I haven't really had any issues with it. But going on to my shop, I got a lot going on. I always have a lot going on. But I'm going to make it quick because I got 3 quick topics that we can maybe skim through like real quick, or, we could leave them till next time. But I got a lot of flag orders still. I got a lot that is on the back burner, and they have been on the back burner for quite some time for another customer. I got cornhole boards that are happening, and then I got a fair coming up at the end of September that I am ill prepared for, so I need to prepare for that. So I'm actually going to be down in the Pine Barrens, so I'd be kind of close to where Josh is, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, that's about 30 minutes, 40 minutes from here, maybe an hour.
Yeah, it's going to be the Pine Barren Maker Fest. This is my first time ever going down there. So we got that fair coming up. So and apparently it's a last year was their first year doing it. The Pine Barren Pallet Works, I believe their Instagram is. They put it on, and they apparently said they had a ton of people walking through last year. So you know what? I want to make it as big as I can and try bringing as much product as I can. My main priority is getting flags, of course, and getting cornhole boards, signs, clocks. So I have 1 month to get all of that done. So, crunch time. It's always. That's it. So, I only knew about this fair probably for about 6 months. So,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Why wait till last minute, But, yeah, the shop is busy. Very, very, very busy. And I'm not promoting for any new orders, but I'm getting new orders. So I got a couple new orders that just came in, and now I got to work those into the schedule. So anyway, this is all going to lead into my issues as of this point. But how do you guys deal with, and how do you cope with burnout? because I know we all three of us have a ton of stuff going on. And, we try pushing ourselves.
I'll see you guys later.
Well, I'll see myself out.
Yeah. I even got a better one, too.
Okay.
I'm excited. I'm actually excited. We're going to do this. We're doing it.
Real quick, speed round.
Go ahead, Nap.
Jeez, Nap.
Honestly,
Nap
guys,
took a nap.
Nap took a nap. He was so burnt out.
All right. No, honestly, it's kind of, I'm not burnt out from woodworking, but I'm burnt out in general.
Yep.
Between everything. I can tell you that my procrastination is how I deal with it, because when I don't have jobs that are due right away and I don't have hard deadlines, I tend to just not do anything. Like today, I should have came home today, put those hangers on those plaques, put them in the box already, and then I wouldn't have to do anything after the podcast today. But instead, I came home, I threw suits on, grabbed a beer, and sat there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I passed out for, a minute or two, maybe an hour. I don't know.
A few.
But yeah, so a lot of my stuff is I hang out with my kid. I don't do anything in the shop because I literally just need to decompress and do nothing. That's how I deal with it, honestly. And on weekends, I grind on the weekends in the shop, but I do go fishing. I find more time for myself to do other things that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I deal with burnout. That way I can come back to things fresh and not feel quite as overwhelmed, because that's where my burnout comes from. It's just being overwhelmed between actual work and shop life.
All right.
So,
Mr. Josh?
I try to deal with it. Procrastination is part of it. I actually perform better under pressure. So I feel I get more done when I have that pressure on me. So due dates, stuff like that. Is it healthy? No, not at all.
No.
But, trying to get better at it, trying to realize that I have limitations and I cannot work all night and then, go to work next morning and expect to perform at my top level. So that's part of me in this move is I am going to try to get better at that. I am trying to plan for things. Now, am I already kind of messing that up? Yeah, kind of. I already have multiple people reaching out for projects and stuff. And I haven't got payment or anything on those, but except for one. But I'm going to try to space it out so that I am trying to do a podcast. Damn cat.
There's the laser beam.
What I say?
Lasers.
Pew, pew. Just see it all behind him.
Well, we have packing material everywhere, and that's like a cat's playhouse, man. Like she's going bonkers.
Yeah, you got boxes, you got plastic wrap, everything.
Yes, she's just loving life. Long story short, I'm trying to plan ahead and do better, but there's months I do great, and there's months I don't. There's day to day, and you know what? I don't have the answers. All I do is try to get better. Okay. So that's my answer.
All right. Well, I like the procrastination angle, except when I procrastinate, I get lost in my head that I should be doing something and then beat the hell out of myself that I'm not doing anything. So by me dealing with burnout is like not well, because I go on a downward spiral and then it all comes crashing down. And one thing Josh said, and Nap, I don't know why whatever. One thing that you guys just said is deadlines are, help you out with that so that you can get the projects done. Most of the time, and I just recently I had 2 customers that needed flags done at a specific deadline, but the deadline was like months and months out. So I was like, perfect. I got plenty of time to work on it. I didn't work on it until the month of. Like, I just finished a flag that's got to be to the guy by this Saturday, and I'm praying that UPS doesn't screw it up. Because if it does, it leaves me no leeway. And then, so I'm trying to push myself, and burnout's just lately. It's like sleep. You can't just get past it. I sleep. Well, I come home, I fall asleep on the couch, I get up or try to, and then go back down. But some days it's just like, my biggest thing, I think I'm burnt out, I'm overwhelmed, and I got too much crap going on. And my shop is a disaster, which doesn't.
That right there. I will tell you, in my experience, if your shop is a mess, it's 5 to 10 times harder to produce or go in there because you know that you have to deal with that.
Mhm.
The best way, and this is my opinion, if you have the time and you can, with the days where you're exhausted and you could barely do anything, do what Nap did, but don't take a nap. Crack open a beer, go into your shop, put on a show or the podcast or whatever, and put things away. Don't do it in a hurry. You don't have to get it all done, but get some done. And that's going to allow you to get that energy, get in the shop, and eventually do the stuff you need to do. It's going to help you rest, and you're achieving something while you do it.
Makes sense. See, the problem is cleaning and orders it's such a high priority on both levels. And I got to clean. And then I go, but I got these orders. And then I go, but yeah, it would make me feel better if I cleaned, but I need to get my orders out. See, I get so procrastinated where I go so far. Now I'm so crunched for time that I'm like, I don't have time for anything else except this order. So I definitely have to clean up big time. I keep dreaming, and a boy can dream, but I would love to empty out my shop complete, like empty it, and then just start from scratch. But I know that would be like a month process for me.
So have you ever considered, like, I know this is...
I've already went to therapy. Oh, you aren't going to ask that?
Yes, therapy, sir. You need therapy. No, what I was going to say is, would there be a chance that you'd be able to not necessarily catch up on jobs, right? Because like you said, you're a pretty busy dude. I know you make a lot of flags and stuff, but to a point where you just don't take orders for a second, to where you could spend a couple weeks to a month.
I hate saying no. Like, hate it. Like, that is a missed opportunity to me. If I told them, the problem with me is I don't want to tell somebody, hey, it's going to be 6 months before I could start your thing, because I don't want to have that potential loss of a sale. I'd rather stress myself out and get so overwhelmed with it that now I'm complaining that I'm so stressed out and overwhelmed, but yet I made that sale and now I got my product out there. So it's hard to say no. I wanted to close down shop 100% and just say absolutely no orders. But then I'm like, but that's a missed opportunity.
Well, then don't say no. Then don't say no. Say yes, but. I had a mentor of mine say, you never say no. You just say yes, but. You say, yes, I can get you your order, but it's going to have to be after this time.
Yeah. See, I do tell myself that. I go, I'm going to tell the next person that orders something, it's not going to be due or it's not going to be done until, December or something like that. And then when I'm messaging them, they're like, can I have it in 2 days? I'm like, sure, absolutely, sure can.
So okay. So when you have influx of orders, we've talked about this before. See, I'm from Texas now. I don't talked about this before. Anyway,
stuff like that.
Don't be salty. Anyway, long story short here, when you have influx of orders like that, there's two ways to solve that. Just say no or raise your prices. So basically what's happening is either your work is so good and at such a low cost, okay, you're getting influx of orders. When you raise that cost, you're going to have a workload that is manageable, but yet you're going to make the same amount.
Oh, yeah. I completely get what you're saying. And I've raised my pricing, which is a good thing. But here's the other thing. Here's the other caveat to this whole thing. A lot of my orders right now, yes, I have new ones. I have ones that, maybe within the past few months. But I also have orders that people have just been waiting for patiently, very patiently. I have a customer who is a saint, and he is patiently waiting over 2 years for his flags. He ordered them when I was like real early on. And I keep telling him, I'm glad that, I guess it was a blessing in disguise that I waited, because now he's going to get a more superior product that, I've perfected over that time frame. And he understands, but I just still feel bad. So I put that burden on myself. I'm sorry that this is such a therapy session. I'm glad to be here.
Let it out. It's better.
I'm going to lay down now. Hang on.
No, you don't take a nap.
As long as you don't take clothes off, we're good.
No, I'm not gonna take clothes off. But I see an elephant in the black blob behind you. That's what I'm seeing right now. You know how they hold up the black blobs and ask you what they see?
Oh, I thought you talked about my black blob. Sorry.
Well, you're the only one with the black background. So yes, I was. Anyway, that joke went really, really horribly. So anyway, I'm gonna finish this off by saying I don't deal with burnout very well. Anyway, next topic, if you want, this should be a very easy one, kind of more a yes or no, because we make all three of us kind of make, I would say, relatively the same things over and over again. You know, right? Fair. So. You know, you have little changes here and there, but for the most part, it's about the same. Do you ever get bored of making the same or similar item? Like I've been outside carving flags, and I've carved 5 in a row, and I hated every single one of them. I wanted to give it up. I didn't want to do it anymore because it was the same repetitive thing. Even though they look different, they were all the same to me. And I was very just like, I got to do something else. But flags are my big thing, and I love them, but they get boring after a while. I'm on a roller coaster. I like the process. Once they're carved, I hate the process. Once they're stained, I sort of like them, and then once they're finished, I really like them.
I think it's a love-hate relationship. I think with things that you do repetitively.
Yep.
It depends on the type of project. So shadow boxes, I will always love making those. I talked about this on the Creative Maker podcast. It was, if there's one thing I can make over and over, what would be? It'd be shadow boxes. The reason why is because it tells a different story every time you make one.
Okay.
And that's why I love making those. I'll never get tired of making those. But if there's something I don't like making over and over, which is part of the reason why I gave them up, except for onesies and twosies recently, was the military hat press and the hat stands. I honestly got tired of making those because they're boring. Unless, of course, you know, it's the onesie twosies that you get to have creative autonomy with. They're the same thing over and over. And to be frank, some of the stress that goes in making those was just not worth it over time. Yeah. So
it makes sense. And I like your take on the shadow boxes because it's kind of the same thing even with the flags. You know, it's just not a red, white, blue flag. You get to personalize it in the way to represent what that person did in their career of either law enforcement, military, or whatever it might be. So you get to personalize it, which takes it up that step, but it's just like this. It's like, okay, I got to cut the wood, glue the wood, carve the wood, sand the wood. It's like all that repetitive stuff until you get to the nitty gritty where you can now start personalizing it and make it different than all the others. But I stole Josh's thunder. And how about yourself, sir?
I don't know if I make anything repetitively, because I use plaques as an example. I make plaques. I make a lot of plaques, but a lot of times they're different. Like they'll be designed completely different. They might have completely all wood features. Some might have, acrylic, wood or acrylic. And I could a lot of times I get creative freedom with those because they'll be like, hey, we want this. Can you make this happen? And I'm like, yeah. And I'll design it. They'll be like, cool. We don't care what you do with it. Do your thing because we know it's going to be cool. Okay. And that is what I enjoy. Like I literally get to create something, from someone's idea and make that a reality. And when it comes to like the stuff like, shadow box, I'm with Nat. I'm honored to be able to, like, I feel like I'm chosen, right? They trust me enough to hold their summary of their career in my hands and make something they're going to look back at every time they think back on the 20 plus years or more or less. And it's going to be my work holding that.
Yeah.
For me, that's not, my God, she just wants to play with everything
nuts
right now.
Back there.
Yeah. It's an honor for me. Like when someone reaches out, and I have a maker right now that reached out to me when I was in Texas. He's like, I wanted to make a retirement chest. I want you to make it. And he has big plans for this thing. We have to go through and kind of see what happens with it. But like that's someone's taking their time searching you out or that know you and asking you to make something that's going to host their entire, achievement.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I don't care if you're in for 4, 6, 20, 25, 30. You're in the military you serve, you've achieved something. So, I mean, like for me, everything I do is usually a gift or an award or like a memory of some sort. So I make memories.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is true. I mean, you're freezing their legacy into that, that shadow box. And like I said, same thing with the flags is like you get to display who they were during that time. And it is an honor. You were saying it yourself, and it reminded me, I just did a flag for a graduating class of officers that just graduated. And every year the new recruits always give a gift to the academy. And like it's cool. Now I got to make that as a piece that's going to hang up to show those people who went through the course and now that they're out in the field. I mean, it's pretty that you get to do that. I guess for me, the boringness comes from, or the boring aspect of it comes from when it just feels the same. Like, the shadow boxes and whatnot, it's still, in theory, we're just going to break it down to simple terms. It's 4 sides, the plexiglass, or what, if you're using real glass, and the backer. So it's all the same, but then the internals is what makes it, I guess, different. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on that.
No, you're not wrong. I think where you're coming from, AJ, and hopefully I'm hitting it on the nail on the head here. It's the process to get you to the point of the parts that you love. It's the repetitive process that gets super boring, like gluing boards together, shaping things, all that. Yeah, that I think could get monotonous. And honestly, sometimes you say to yourself, why am I doing this?
Yes, every single time. I mean, I love sanding them because, like, after they're carved out, like I said, I hate the flag. I really, really do. Once I start sanding it and I see how smooth the waves are and it's taking shape, then I love it again. Once you start staining it, it's the love-hate relationship is going away. Now I'm liking it even more. And then you add the personal touch to it. And that's, once you get into the nitty-gritty of it, you're adding the stars, then it becomes like, okay, now this is really a thing. Then it becomes more enjoyable. But man, getting to that point is like, it's like pulling teeth with myself.
I'd say maybe like the final thought on this is it's a mindset. Mm-hmm. So one thing that you said, which I think many makers should embody, is I get to do this. Not that I have to do this, but I get to do this. So when you think to yourself, I get to make this flag or I get to make this shadow box, it's more seen as an opportunity rather than just a job.
Yep.
Because there are times where I'm like, man, I have to make this thing. And you're just like, oh. But then you're like, I get to make this. You're like, oh, hell yeah, I get to do this. I get to do that. This is going to be super cool. And the process could be similar. But I think if you change the mindset of I have to I get to, I think that might help a little bit with the monotony of some of the jobs that we do in our shops.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to 100% agree because, and this will be my last thing and I'll make it very quick. I just got an order for a 3-foot flag to showcase somebody who just retired from the Army. And it's another maker in our community. And so I was like, I'm honored. I really, that's awesome that I'm going to be able to make something for another woodworker to showcase his legacy. And it's going to be hung up on a wall for years to come. So I like that. I like the way you put that, Nap. Thank you for this therapy session. I will not be paying either of you.
No, you paid us, sir, by coming on here and spending your evening with us on the podcast, and we very much appreciate it. As always.
No, I appreciate coming on. I really do.
Before we get any further, Jason actually has a good idea. Why don't
I can't hire anybody though?
You don't need to.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I'm forgetting that. I'm forgetting that we're on this thing. Go ahead. You can read the question.
So basically, he goes into why don't you hire someone to do with the grunt work or whatnot. I would caveat that with you don't need to hire someone. You can have someone, family member, have you, a friend, another maker, come down and help with the grunt work, get you to the points that you like. And insert comment here. Is she there?
You want me to tell you something? I don't like working with people You know why? Because they don't do it like I do. My father
Honesty.
has offered.
I
My
like it.
father's going to retire in a year, and he is super excited. He's like, "I'm going to come over and I'm going to help you. I could cut some wood. I could do this." And I'm like, "No, don't do it." Because it's no. I like to do it myself, so I know it gets done the way I want it to be done. So no, I appreciate it, but no. But I the thing is. And I'm gonna end on this because I know Nap's itching to get back to a nap, and I've let my shop go for so long, and it's a snowball effect at this point. I can clean up one thing, and then that one thing gets replaced with 10 things, and then I can clean up one more thing, and then 10 more things show up. So I'm in a constant battle of trying to keep it clean and organized, but the organization and cleanliness has been so. It's like a hoarder's house at this point. You move one thing, it still looks like crap. And that's exactly what I'm dealing with. And the other thing...
Throw it all away.
Trust you.
Send it all to me.
Trust
That's
me.
fine.
I've been so tempted.
Still.
No. That I'm not selling it. I'm going to throw it, if anything. But the one biggest thing for me was... I need more flat space because I only have my main workbench, but I need a rolling bench of some sort. So I need something small and modular that I can fold up so it doesn't take up space. But when I need it, then I can unfold it and I have some space. Because the thing is, like, I want to work on a couple of different projects, but I have so much stuff stacked on top of those projects. Now I got to find a spot for that stuff. So it's a monster that I'm never going to be able to get through
cycle.
Right this second. Yeah. So
hopefully through this, you get a breakthrough of some sort and you can jump back on and tell us about it.
I've noticed every time I'm on, it's always a therapy session for me. And I appreciate it. Because I walk out of here feeling all free and clear. And then you guys are like, why did we invite him on?
Nah, man, we love having you on. Victor is offering $200 for your mortiser.
I think I paid more for that. And he'll pick it up. Wait a minute, you're getting paid. Gotta love Victor.
Yeah, man. They're all great guys, every single one of them, and girls out there.
Everyone is.
I'm glad to have them as Patreons. Got to meet quite a few of those guys. So, well, guys, I think we should wrap this one up. Yeah, you want to take it out? AJ, do you have any final words or anything?
No, not really. I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to the next time.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure there'll be plenty next times coming up.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on, man. As always, you're always going to be host of the podcast. You're always welcome. And with that nap, now that you're awake, what do you have to say for yourself?
I don't know about awake. I blacked out. Where are we at? But no, hey.
Which rabbit hole?
Yeah, right. It's like, what was I doing again? But hey, thanks everyone for listening. As usual, thanks for turning us on and, giving us the support and love that y'all do within the community. Just keep doing that. It helps us keep going on the podcast as well as, us helping other folks in the community, making it stronger. Outside of that, I ain't got much else. Hopefully I have more next time dealing with my quote unquote burnout and my excessive napping. But, we'll move on from that. But Josh, what do you got, man, to finish this out?
Oh, well, first of all, thank everyone for listening to the 161st episode of Sawdust Nation Podcast. It has been one hell of a ride, and hopefully you guys can tune in next week and see what's happening in the shops and my journey to Illinois. And with that, help your fellow makers, even if they're not makers, help them out. You never know. You can inspire someone to become a maker, and someday you might be on a podcast with them. So with that, thank you for listening. Go make some sawdust, and Sawdust Nation Podcast out.
Out. I ain't gonna lie. I've been sitting here whittling away at this pencil. I accidentally cut it in half with my knife, and this is what I turned. This is
nice.
So I fidget, but I fidget with like random little pieces of wood that I have in my.
Josh fidgets with wood too.
I bet he does.
Sure do. Doing it now.